Don't you just love a book that leaves you at the end with almost more questions than answers? Or do you hate that? Kin by Tayari Jones is, I think, her fourth or fifth novel, and probably the one most people will have heard of from her is An American Marriage. This comes to us from Penguin. It was one of those books where, even though some bits of it landed oddly, not oddly, but I had serious questions, and I really wanted to be able to sit down with the author and say, what? I loved it. I was greedy for her prose, greedy for the way she makes you fall in love with her characters, and wanting to know more about how they lived, how they survived, how they got through the things they did, and the why of everything. And I suppose that's what great storytelling is the why. Why do we do things the way we do, and why did that character do that? I'm not going to give you much of the plot because you can actually find that out by reading the back of the book. But we are looking at a friendship between two girls, Annie and Nisi Bernice, who are from Louisiana, and both of them are motherless, and they have been sort of kind of raised together by all the women who stand in for mothers. Bernice, or Nisi, by her auntie Irene, and Annie by her grandmother. But they spend an awful lot of time together and become cradle sisters. And this is a friendship. It's a book about this friendship, about how these two women, having been raised as decent but relatively poor black children, how they start their lives. We're back in about the 50s, and what their hopes and dreams are, and how do their paths diverge. So in many ways it made me think a little bit of Britt Bennett's The Vanishing Half. It's got similar, so it has resonances with the difference, and I think part of that is to do with the way the girls' appearance and attitudes sort of cast them as being more one of them, Nisi, who is the one that I kind of felt at the beginning was the one that, as a white person, I would identify more with the trajectory that I knew of in my life, which was you have aspirations, you want to go to college and you want to better yourself, and you want to maybe, have certain things for yourself. And Annie, who was not academically inclined, but as the novel moved on, I was fascinated by how Annie just grabbed me by the heartstrings, and she really didn't let go. She was a vibrant, willful, sassy character, and her trajectory is very much, and she kind of pulls Nisi into the toe of what she does. She's got her following along some of her adventures because they're so bonded. Annie, the difference between these two girls, part of the difference is that Nisi's mother went to heaven, so she just lives with that sort of loss, whereas Annie's mother, Hattie Lee, upped and left her behind, and she's always aching to know why, and it's a mission that she goes on to try and find her. So she follows a trajectory that seems less planned, and passes through locations like a sort of bordello and a brothel, and sort of jazz dive bars, where there's a kind of a sort of a trajectory that seems a little bit like well-worn territory, and maybe Nisi's college experiences, and then a kind of marriage market and kind of civilized, educated, the kind of expectation society has. How does she accept that or bow to it, or does she? And where do these two trajectories go? Where do the girls end up? How does that friendship outlast all the experiences of their lives. I had a slight bone to pick with the novel, and I suppose part of that is because at the end I had an awful lot of questions and was kind of felt that we could have had a whole second part to this. I'd be interested to see what you think of that, so you can let me know in the comments. But it was full of glorious women, glorious adventures, glorious, not even, yes, adventures. There were lovely love stories, there were very staunch friendships, there were sort of ghostly hoverings, there was great sadness, great miscarriages of justice, and sort of this constant fight for recognition, for Black recognition in an America which was so, and still is, so terribly biased, against African Americans. It was the most astonishing read, and it's one that I think the characters will sit with me for a long time. I'm carrying both of them in there going, but why, why do they do the things they do? But it was absolutely terrific. There were women who I just said, God, they were, it's a village, but it's a village of women that raises you, and raised these two girls irrespective of what their outcomes were. It was absolutely tremendous. And I know that if you read some written reviews, you'll see what I actually thought about that, but where it went to. But it's absolutely, you've got to pick it up, have a go. Like and subscribe, leave me comments, and that's it for this time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.